Hey YouTube, how are you? Welcome to Chat with KST. Just to let you guys know, we're streaming on two different platforms, TikTok, YouTube, and we're also going to be uploading this to our podcast just in case you guys wanted to maneuver through the apps so that you can see the visuals on YouTube or just listen to me on the podcast. Anyway, nonetheless, we have a couple topics that we have to get into. All right. So, Nicki Minaj, did her card decline that she got from Trump? Because, it was a big old thing when she got this gold card from Trump, and the White House had something to say about it. We are going to be talking about let's see, Don Lemon and his most recent arrest. And speaking of arrests, Shacarri Richardson was too arrested. So we have quite a few topics to get into today, this lovely Friday. So let's sit back, let's just chill and jump into it. So, what I'm going to pop up on the screen really quickly, YouTube, is the thing that has had the internet in a storm, this whole Nicki Minaj and Trump thing, right? So as we can see in these images, that Nicki Minaj and Trump are hand in hand at his most recent summit, right? So this is just painting the back, giving you guys the background information as to what most recently happened with the gold card not being what Nicki Minaj may have thought it was. But nonetheless, this is kind of what led up to that. So here, Nicki Minaj is with Donald Trump hand in hand at his summit. This is her president. They're doing all the things, all the hugs, the kisses, all the handshakes. She's even given the peace sign and everything like that. Having fun with these men, right? So these images, of course, flood the internet. And of course, everyone had something to say about it. People hated Nicki Minaj, people hated the relations and everything like that. And then, of course, this was Miss Nicki Minaj attending uh, the Amazon MGMs for Melania's world premiere, whatever event this is. But she basically attended the summit for Trump. And then she's also supporting her first lady by attending the events for our first lady. So, with this whole thing, as it relates to Nicki Minaj and Trump and her like kind of getting close with Trump, many people started to say, hey, like, if we're going by Donald Trump's rules and guidelines, and basically Nicki Minaj needs to be deported because at the end of the day, she isn't a legal citizen, permanent residence, or whatever. So Nicki Minaj posted this after the summit and after getting this gold Trump card, and it says residency. The cope is coping. Finalizing that citizenship paperwork as we speak, as per my wonderful, gracious, charming president. Thanks to the petition. I wouldn't have done it without you. Oh, citizen Nika, you are the moment. Gold Trump card free of charge. So, in the midst of Nicki Minaj getting close to Trump, she posts this gold card and she's basically saying, look, I'm a citizen, because they had these petitions going around where thousands of people were signing it saying like deport her, right? So this clip, I'm gonna play it for you guys, resurfaces of Nicki Minaj talking about the first lady.
Motherfucking K, cause Barack needed a Michelle, bitch, and Bill needed a motherfucking Hillary, bitch. You better pray to God you don't get stuck with a motherfucking Melania. You niggas want brainless bitches? to stroke your motherfucking ego? Well, fuck you, nigga.
So, of course, the internet will always, 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 always pull up your dirt from 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago when they see you link up with the ops. So, basically, the internet saw that Nicki Minaj and Trump are all buddy buddy. Nicki Minaj is with the first lady, all buddy buddy. So, the internet decided to dig up this clip of Nicki Minaj saying Barack needed a Michelle. Don't get stuck with like basically an air brain for a wife like Melania. So again, remember, like I said, everything is going good at this point. And then this clip surfaces, and of course, Nicki's posting her Trump gold card free of charge. But then we get this message from the White House. So the White House officially reportedly says that Nicki Minaj's Trump gold card was just a souvenir, not a visa, nor a citizenship document. And I think, of course, we do know that it's not a visa nor a citizenship document, but Trump was alluding to this, if you buy into this card or whatever and $1 million thing, then you can become like a permanent resident and things of that nature. So I don't know if Nicki Minaj got carried away with these things, or if they like backed out. I'm so confused as to what's going on with the whole Trump and Nicki Minaj situation, because it's like Nicki Minaj is here like, go Trump, go Trump, go Trump. I got me my Trump gold card, and here I am about to be a citizenship. Get my citizenship, being a citizen, just for the White House to say, whoa there, no, that's not happening. So some may speculate that it's from her, her previous comments about the first lady, or maybe it was never a thing. We don't know what is going on there. I just think that for one, it could be that the White House can't make it seem like they're doing favors for people, for celebrities, on like based on support for support. So I don't know if it's a little bit of that. I really don't know what's going on here, but what I would say is, girl, let's take it back a little bit, right? What they said, don't count your eggs before they hatch. Like, let's get our documents, go to the office, get sworn in, and do all the things before we start speaking on Trump and all these different things. But nonetheless, that's what's been going on with this whole Nicki Minaj and Trump situation. Nonetheless, we have this clip of Summer Walker going around on the internet, right? And this clip that's going around on the internet, I was just like, what the heck is going on here?
Yo, I love this. I love this. See who's mine.
And of course, she got the gospel going on in the background. So I don't want to play too much of that just for copyright purposes, but just to kind of describe it to those on the podcast and those on TikTok. Summer Walker has what you would call a face thing on, bracing her face to keep her face together. She has the strap for the belly on. It looks like she has multiple layers going on. She's putting on her bonnet. It's like she's dressed for plastic surgery war. Like, what are we doing? And then she puts the UV, the red lamp or the red light lamp or whatever on her face. And I'm just like, girl, I get it. We are like girls, and we do take care of our skin. We do all the things, but Summer Walker, I think this is a bit much to go to bed. Like, if I'm going to bed, I want the least things on as possible. The least things on. So I don't know what's going on with Summer Walker, but Summer Walker is indeed the same person who says that if she could get as many plastic surgery as she wants, she will. So I'm just like, girl, like it's definitely given body dysmorphia. It's given a little bit of I want to maintain the body that I have, but I'm just like, if this is what I have to go through to have the perfect Dolly body or to have the perfect Kim Kardashian body, you can keep it. I do not want to go through this every single night. Like, what? But anyway, so I saw this clip of Nene Leakes going around with her. I think this has we're not gonna play the music, but we see this clip of Nene Leakes going around with her like swirling in this like see-through mesh, whatever this thing is that she's like swirling around with. And I'm just like, I don't know, like, am I the only one that I'm happy for Nene Leakes and her return to Real Housewives of Atlanta? But sometimes when Nene Leakes post, maybe it doesn't go viral. Like I've never seen her bring up her past husband, Greg. Like it just made me think like I get it, like when we're alive we have all these different relations and everybody loves us and things of that nature, but I feel like this is the epitome of when you're gone you may just be forgotten, because I see Nene post about her podcast, all the things that she's doing. I see her post about the men in Atlanta and how they're no good, how they're toxic, how they're this, but I never see her post about Greg. And I'm just like, OMG, that man must be turning around in his grave, like as we speak. But nonetheless, she looks beautiful, and we are indeed happy for her return to Real Housewives of Atlanta. Now, let's get into the messy stuff, right? We started things a little bit warm in this show, but let's turn up the heat a notch, right? So here's a clip of Devon Franklin, and he's reflecting on the first time divorce crossed his mind with Megan Good, and says he's refusing says refusing to remove thirst traps is a red flag when dating. So the thing is, right, as it relates to Megan Good and Devon Franklin, is that Megan Good, when they broke up, I think it was 2021, because I dove deep into their relationship. They broke up in August 2021. They got divorced in December 2021. He didn't say anything about their breakup. Like nothing. He was like remote silent and things of that nature. Of course, Megan Good came out a couple of times. She didn't really say much about their breakup, but she was just like, she was just like, hey, like, it hurts her. Like, she's really, really hurt and torn by their breakup. Mind you, they were like together for like 10 years. We know the church literally tried to demolish Megan Good for the way that she conducted herself, and that was a tumultuous thing to go through. But she loved her man. She loved her man, and she wanted to stick beside him. So we have Megan Good speaking about it quite a few times, saying it was Devon Franklin who broke up the relationship that they had. But here it is, Devon Franklin for the very first time speaking out about the divorce.
Down into the raging water below. And I was presented with a Shakespearean dilemma. To jump or not to jump? That is the question. As I stood there pondering the question, the irony of this dilemma wasn't lost on me, because I had just asked myself a very similar question as it related to my marriage. You see, a few months prior to Costa Rica, I was faced with the question, to jump or not to jump out of my marriage. Now, when I say jump, let's just be clear about what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the D word, divorce. I was struggling with the question, to divorce or not to divorce. Even thinking of the question was terrifying. Even having the thought put me in a state of disbelief and absolute fear. I never thought that I would contemplate it. Better yet, I never thought that I would even do it, but now I'm at the edge of considering it. And I knew if I were to do it, it would cost me everything. It would mean acknowledging myself in many ways as a failure. It would mean the sacrifice and death of the persona of Devon Franklin, the persona that millions of people around the world had come to know and love. These dating streets are ugly. I got on one dating app. I said, Lord, bless my swipe, bless my swipe. I got on another one. I said, Jesus, take the app, please help me. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, there are more than 133.5 million people in the U.S. who identify as single. And now they could add one more to the tally. Now, I wasn't looking for marriage. I was just looking to explore and just have a good time and enjoy myself. And someone said, Devon, be careful, because these dating streets are ugly. I said, ugly? They said, ugly. They said, I don't know what you're going to do, brother. I said, me neither. But I got Jesus, a therapist, and unlimited data. So we're going to figure it out. Now, listen, y'all, I had not dated in 10 years. OK, so admittedly, I was a little rusty. So the first dating situation out of the gate, this is a true story, I got ghost fished. I was ghosted and catfished at the same time. I was talking to a woman on Snapchat for 4 or 5 months that I never saw. And then I realized, wait a minute, I haven't seen you. She didn't want to be seen. So, OK, I had to move on. All right, let me move on. Let me keep going. A thirst trap is basically a scantily clad or suggested picture someone posts.
All right. So before we even get into the thirst trap, so he speaks a little bit on getting the divorce with Megan Good. He doesn't go in depth as to the reason why. He just speaks on being faced with this challenge of, whether he should divorce her or not. Now, I've always not a fan, but when a man look good, it's not hard to listen to him, right? So I've always kind of looked over at Devon Franklin okay. But when he said that after you decided to leave your wife of 9 years, relationship of 10 years, you met Megan Good during the Jump in the Broom movie, and you've been with this woman for 10 years, and you decided to get a divorce, and you found yourself on Snapchat, that's strike number one for me. What are you doing on Snapchat in 2021? What went down on Snapchat in 2021, Mr. Devon Franklin? That's number one. And strike number two, after you decided to leave your good woman, you decided to speak to another woman, which you said catfished you, as in you've never seen this woman before. So you, Devon Franklin, decided to leave Megan Good, strike two, because of whatever the reason was, but went on to go onto Snapchat to find someone. And when you found this person, you decided that you were going to date them for 6 months without even seeing them. I don't know. This divorce it's looking like it has a bad guy. It's looking like it has a bad guy. And then you're saying this person then ghosted you. Strike three, you're out. Devon, I think you might have been the problem. I think you might have been the problem here. But let's listen to him talk about the thirst traps.
With the intention of attracting attention from the opposite sex or the same sex, depending on what they're into. Now, here's the thing. This was the same thirst trap that trapped my thirst, so I was highly aware of what the trap was because it was a very effective trapper of thirst. So I said to her, hey, obviously it's your page. I just have a question. Can I ask a question? That picture that you have pinned, top row, center slot, would you say that's a thirst trap? And she laughs and she says, well, yeah, it's a little thirst trappy. I said, well, You've already trapped my thirst. Are you still thirsty? Oh man, she went quiet. Like iPhone on do not disturb quiet. I just found it very interesting that I'm out here decluttering my DMs like a good boy, per her request. And meanwhile, she's got the storefront looking like buy one, slide in free. Okay, but you know how it goes in dating, right?
So a couple of things, right? Love the way that he spoke and he was able to articulate himself. It definitely shows that he thought about what he was going to say beforehand and didn't just spew out the first thing that came to his mind. Um, and I get the whole thirst trap thing. However, like I feel like I think he's like a reverend, pastor, preacher. At this point, these titles, these church titles, they get me. I love you, God, but the titles, I can't keep up. So I think that Devon Franklin is actually a reverend. So him saying that she is his female, whichever female he's talking about. I don't know if it's Megan Good or anybody else. I don't want to speculate whichever female he was talking about, but a female he was dating was posting thirst traps, and he said that he was being a quote unquote good boy by cleansing his DMs and like basically she couldn't reciprocate. And I'm just like, I don't know. Like, am I the only one who thinks that if you are going to be like a servant for God, if you're going to be someone who devotes your life to God, that's just like a requirement, regardless of who you're dating and whatever your relationship dynamics may be or whatever may be going on within your relationship, that you do maintain a certain level of I don't know what to, I don't know what to call it, but there's a certain level of ooh, that truck is loud. There's a certain level of like not associating yourself with certain things that you should just do anyway, off rip, on guard. So you shouldn't be saying like, okay, well, she's posting thirst traps while I'm being a good boy. Like, and you shouldn't be thinking of it as I'm being a good boy. It should just be like I'm devoted to God. I've tamed that spirit of lust within me where I don't need to just, and again, everyone's walk with God isn't perfect, but I would think like for a reverend who's been in this for a very long time would be able to kind of um look at this a little bit different. But nonetheless, he's spoken about this whole Megan Good situation, saying that he decided to get the divorce from Megan Good. Right now, Megan has moved on with Jonathan Majors, and it seems like they're in a really good space. Of course, there were speculations that
We see a red.
Jonathan Majors' relationship along with Megan Good was like for show, you know, but I do think that them being married and them continuing on their journey has definitely made a lot of people buy into their story. Now, Devon Franklin talks about his experience with getting the divorce and deciphering, you know, whether, and he too is also married, let me mention that, but he talks about deciphering whether he wanted to go and, you know, get the divorce. And this was actually from 2022 when they got their divorce. And this was Megan Good talking about, opening up about her split from Devon Franklin, discussing it as the most painful thing I've ever experienced in my life. And I'm telling you, because this girl, she dealt with a lot. She dealt with a lot being with this man. Not that she was dealing with cheating or lies or whatever. I don't know the inner works of their relationship, but publicly, like there were always these speculations that the church couldn't accept her for who she was because of the way that she dressed, the way that she looked, and the things that she was doing. So imagine being a creative, an actress, and having to go through this. But the reason why I brought up Megan Good here is because here we have Devon Franklin reflected on their divorce 4 years later, and Megan Good did it immediately after. So I don't really know what that's about, like psychologically. Like I just feel like they both processed it a little bit differently, but nonetheless, um, and I'm trying to like be politically correct here because I do feel like I am a Christian, so like I have like, not try not to be judgmental and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, like, let me just say it. Like, I think he should have perhaps moved on from the whole divorce by now. And I do think that it says a lot when about the person who speaks about the relationship years after it's over, whether in a good light or a bad light. Like, you should be so far removed from that relationship because you're in the new one. But nonetheless, this is Devon Franklin talking about Megan Good and Megan Good living her life. So let's move on to the reason why we're all here tonight. Don Lemon. So Don Lemon, he was basically at some award show, I guess the Grammy. He was at some award show, right? And when he was at the award show, of course, he's hanging out with all the celebrities. Here he is hanging out with Busta Rhymes.
Don don't gotta talk.
Hello, Shade Room.
Don don't gotta talk. I'ma talk. Proud of Don. We proud of Don. We gonna advocate for Don.
That's right.
We need to protect Don at all costs.
Yes,
He's
sir.
doing his job in the divine alignment way. And we salute him for that.
Thank you, my brother.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Peace and love,
everything.
bro.
Don
So here we have Busta Rhymes, saluting Don Lemon at the Grammy, whatever award show this is that they were just at right before his arrest. And he's saluting him. And I guess he's saluting him for them going into the church to protest against the ICE officer who I guess is a preacher on the pulpit. I get that everyone have their opinion about ICE, and they have their opinion about their political views and things of that nature, and freedom of speech, freedom of press, freedom to protest. We all have our freedoms. So it just baffles me when we want to stand for our freedoms while suppressing others in theirs. Because at the end of the day, whether ICE agent or not, preacher, whatever, he had the freedom to practice his religion. Why must we declare our rights and our freedoms while infringing upon other people's rights and their freedoms? So I don't feel like Don Lemon had any right to run up in them people's church, whether he orchestrated it, planned it, showed up at it, and he was later arrested after this. And the reason why he was arrested, some of the arguments that the DA's making, is that when people do protest, they're entitled to peacefully protest. But when people do peacefully protest, they do have to remain outside of the business. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen people protesting, but I mean, of course, other than that January event over at the White House. But typically, when people protest, they're out in front of the building, out in front of the streets, out on the sidewalks. They're not going into people's private property and trying to protest there. So I just feel like them going into the church to do this was very much so disrespectful and infringing upon other people's rights while trying to fight for their own. But of course, we get reports that Don Lemon has been arrested by federal agents in connection with the Minnesota church protest that took place earlier this month. And of course, his attorney released a statement and things of that nature. But then, of course, a couple hours later, people were alluding to the fact that the arrest was made on a Friday so that they could kind of hold Don Lemon in custody for the entire weekend. You know, like when you get arrested on the Friday, sometimes you don't get to see the judge until Monday because everything is closed. But nonetheless, Don Lemon was able to be released from jail after his arrest, and this is what he had to say.
Can everybody hear me? Are you guys set? Everybody ready? So look, I want to thank everybody for their support. It truly means the world to me. I had no idea what's going on because obviously I haven't seen anything. I have spent my entire career covering the news. I will not stop now. In fact, there is no more important time than right now, this very moment, for a free and independent media that shines a light on the truth and holds those in power accountable. Again, I will not stop now. I will not stop ever. Last night, the DOJ sent a team of federal agents to arrest me in the middle of the night for something that I've been doing for the last 30 years, and that is covering the news. The First Amendment of the Constitution protects that work for me and for countless of other journalists.
All right, Don, I do have to stop you there. That is not the reason for this arrest in the middle of the night. The reason for the arrest wasn't for your journalism. It was for the tactics that you used. It was planning the going into the people's church to disrupt the service that got you arrested. It wasn't your journalism. Let's not do this PR thing where we jump over the elephant in the room. You've been doing your journalism for many years and no one arrested you because you were doing the right thing, right? So in this instance where we did do the wrong thing by intervening in the people's church, running up in the people's church, that pastor, preacher, priest, I think he was Catholic, whatever. So let's call him go by the correct name here. That priest asked you to leave. And y'all was running up in that man's whatever you want to call it, like running up in the people's church doing God knows what. That's why you were arrested, not for being a journalist. So I guess I get it. You want to make the perfect PR statement here, but let's get it correct.
Who do what I do. I stand with, can everybody hear me? Are you guys set? I stand with all of them, and I will not be silent. I look forward to my day in court. Thank you all. I stand with all of them.
So he's saying that he looks forward to his day in court. I'm just like, look, stand for what you stand for, but the same respect that you want others to give you is the same respect that you should give others. Don't run, like, there is certain things that are just sacred and have been understood on a government level within the United States that these things are sacred. So we allow you to do this. And it's crazy because even you want to talk about him being an ICE agent and being up in the being a priest or whatever he was, even in jails, the priest is there. In hospital, the priest is there. Like, there's always a space for people to practice their religion. So I don't think Don Lemon should have ran up in these people's church doing that and then talking about it. It's all for the sake of journalism. No, you planned it with this woman, and you ran up in them people's stuff, and you shouldn't have done that. But nonetheless, let's move on to the runner. She's a track star, Shacarri Richardson. So Shacarri Richardson was actually arrested because she was traveling at 104 miles per hour. To which I must say, girl, like, why is we going this fast? Like, I get it, you're young, like, the cars are fast. Sometimes you can't tell the cars are fast. But the way this officer describes the way you was driving, girl, cutting lanes, cut. Like, I just feel like, can we think about our safety? But nonetheless, here is the video of Shacarri being arrested.
I would wipe that smile off your face. I'm Sergeant McDaniels with the Orange County Sheriff's Office. You're being stopped for dangerous, excessive speeding.
I understand my tire at the back is like literally on 29.
So you're driving at 100. Hold on. You're driving at 104 miles an hour in a 65 mile an hour zone with subpar equipment, flashing people to get out of your lights, out of your lane, following too close, using every lane to pass everybody, cutting me off, passing a car on the inside shoulder with their hazard lights on. You're going to jail for dangerous excessive speeding.
I'm so sorry. I did not mean to do that. My phone, I didn't even know my car was speeding.
That's why they give you a speedometer.
I totally understand. I communicate with you.
All right. So here he is, the police officer pulling her over, saying, look, you're going to jail for speeding. Now, many people in the comment section thought that this officer was being a little bit too abrasive with the taking her to jail. Like, you could have just literally wrote her a ticket and let there be points on her license. Now, I have to be completely honest with you guys. I've never gone 104 miles per hour plus get caught doing it. So I don't know what the appropriate punishment would be for something like this. I just do think that no one should be going that speed. I do think that Shacarri does have a habit of coming up with excuses. Every time she gets caught doing something that she's not supposed to be doing, and I get that she's young, but she like and again, I don't know her personally, but it just comes off as a person who isn't able to take accountability. But I also understand being in this situation and not wanting to go to jail. But I just feel like it's the excuse of like, there was the excuse of, oh, my back tire is blown out, or my back tire, the air is not working. And then it was something with the phone, and it was something with not knowing that she was going that fast. Like, let me tell you something before we jump into this Shacarri Richardson thing. And what I'm about to say is alleged, really. But I remember I was driving one night, and as I was driving, I had a couple drinks before I had left to go home. So I was driving, had a couple drinks in my system. I was also speeding. And this was like one of the very few times that I've got pulled over for speeding. I think I was going like 85 and a 60 or something. And I was speeding. Now, this is in New York. Is if you're in New York and you know the Southern State Highway, this was the Southern State Highway. Um, and it's like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, right? So if you drive the Southern State Highway a lot, you know that 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, you can get a police officer, a state trooper, whatever. But if you drive it a lot, you know that they don't really be out there, especially so late at night. Because Long Island, they love their bed, and they love to shut stuff down. So I'm driving or whatever, going, I think 85, 85, whatever, in the 60, 55, whatever zone. So this man, state trooper, pulls me over. He pulls me over, And I knew that I was drinking that night. I don't think I was drunk or anything like that, but I knew I was drinking that night. And he pulls me over. I know I'm speeding. I know I'm trying to get home. I am not trying to talk to this man to give him no other information about anything. So the minute he puts his light on and we pull over on the right side of that road, literally by the time this man could even come around to my mirror to ask me for license registration and insurance paper, I was drinking, but I promise you, I had all 3 documents waiting for that man. And I said, oh, he was like, license registration. I was like, here you go, officer. Handed it to him. We didn't have no back and forth, no exchanges, no nothing. You don't tell me why you pulled me over. I know what I was doing wrong. And that man literally got in his car, wrote me my ticket, came back around and said, okay, slow down next time. Thank you. Have a good night. Like, I'm not one of those people who like the Shacarri that feel like I like, not that I have to explain myself, but like, I'm not trying to get out of the situation. Because when you're trying to get out of the situation, whether they feel like you're trying to undermine them, like I don't even want to give you, because I know I'm in the wrong. I'm not trying to give you no kind of nothing. You need my license. Here you go. Thank you. And that's it. And I promise you, like, because if I would have sat there and I would have been going back and forth with this man about my speeding and whatever, this man would have probably smelled alcohol on me. Even though I don't think I was drunk, like he would have probably, it would have led to so many other different things. Like, just when your back is against the wall, accept it and move on. Because you may be very well getting yourself out of a bigger situation. But nonetheless, here Shacarri is, and the reason why I brought up that story is because she's always giving excuses. Stop giving excuses. Accept that, yo, I did it. I was wrong. It was my punishment. All right, thank you. Ain't gonna do it again. Bye, and move on. But here Shacarri is.
I really do not want to go to jail.
No, most people don't, but you got to think about that before you do the speed. I need your license, your registration, and your insurance. You were speeding.
So I was, and I totally didn't know. If you look at my phone, my buttons right here, they jump around. My phone is sitting here and it's sitting on here. I literally see it's not even in normal mode, and I see that. My apologies. Please,
The mode has nothing to do with your gas pedal.
No.
I need your license, your registration, and your insurance.
I really want to work with you, sir. I promise you, I am a law-abiding citizen. I have
Well, it is.
There was no
Work with me, officer, Blaze.
Is this a good address for you, Lake Valley
Yes,
Drive?
sir. I'm here. I love this, sir. Please work with me. I promise you.
I don't know what work with you means.
Not work with me. I understand that. I will take the ticket. I will show you.
No, like I told you, you're going to jail.
Please don't allow me to go. Please, sir. Please.
Listen to me.
Please, sir. I really.
If nothing you say is going to change that. You are going to jail.
And I think the begging and pleading made a lot of people even more upset. And I get it. When people's back is against the wall, they want to get out of the situation. But this, please, sir, oh my.
Am I going to jail, Yikes?
Yes.
Sir, I really was not intentionally speeding.
That's even more scary. That means that you're doing things unintentionally on a task that requires all your attention.
And then this cop, he's like, because when you've been a cop for 10, 15, 20 years, you know all the things that people are going to say. So she's like, I wasn't intentionally speeding. Like, I didn't even know. So his rebuttal was, so you're doing this wrong thing and you're not even cognizant of the fact that you're doing it? Like, no, we got to take you to jail.
Sir, please, I'm begging you.
You are going to have a little bit of time to make some phone calls. You are going to jail. I am towing your car.
Please, sir, don't take me to jail. I will do everything.
No.
I will do everything.
You have two options.
Listen, sir, please.
Listen, you have two options.
Please, sir.
The first option is you can either ride with me in my car.
Damn, that's loud.
The second option is you are going to go to jail in a cage car. Which do you prefer?
I promise you, I don't want to go to jail. I'm right here. I have a team here. I have a coach, everything, sir. I was not intentionally doing anything, and I am.
You're not listening. You're repeating yourself and not listening. Nothing you say is going to change.
So I want to.
All right, so make some phone calls. Let people know that you're going to have a $500 bond.
So, like even just him saying like let people know that you're gonna have a $500 bond. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I get it. Being arrested is a scary thing. However, you kind of have to look at the good things that's going on. Like, you're being arrested for speeding. This is nothing. Like, the only way I would have begged and plead the way that she begged and plead, and trust me, I've done some really, really bad things in my day that I will not confess here on the internet, although I just confessed one. But if I was driving in New York without like insurance or my car being registered or like something like that, I would have probably definitely begged and pleaded. But speeding, take me in. I'll be out in 2.5 seconds. You know what I mean? And look, I don't need nobody to hear that I want to be taken into jail, and then suddenly next week I'm speeding and I'm in jail. But I just feel like the begging and the pleading was not necessary. But then let's talk about this. Sprinter Christian Coleman was also arrested during the same traffic stop as Shacarri Richardson, faces drug paraphernalia and resisting arrest charges. So you might say, okay, well, what does Christian Coleman have to do with all of this? So basically, imagine Shacarri Richardson. She's driving, getting boogie, shifting lanes. Cop catches her, pulls her over, tells her she's going to jail. She begs and pleads. Cop says, no, get your couple phone calls before I arrest you. Notify people that you're going to jail. Let them know where you're going to be at and what your bond is going to be. I guess with that breakdown from the officer, Shacarri decides to call her boyfriend, Christian Coleman, to come and do whatever with her car or to just let him know what's going on. Her boyfriend, according to reports, Christian Coleman, heard that she was getting arrested and pulled up to the scene in his black Jeep. So here Shacarri is in her Aston Martin about to be arrested. He pulls up to save the day in his black Jeep, only for him to be arrested. And you may say, okay, well, why is he being arrested? According to the officer, he pulls up in his Jeep, comes out of the car, tries to rectify the situation with Shacarri, and he's instructed by officers, hey, go back to your car. She's getting arrested, and you'll figure out the rest. And he tosses something to the ground in the grass. He tosses something to the side that catches the eye of the police officer. And I guess this made the police officer suspicious, and all of that led to the police officers searching his vehicle, his Jeep, and finding a pipe in his car with what seems to be marijuana. So if people are like stoners and they smoke marijuana, of course some people they'll roll it and stuff like that, but some people they'll smoke the marijuana through a glass pipe. So there was the pipe and the marijuana in his car, which the police officers later arrested him for in resisting arrest. So here he is trying to save the day for Shacarri, just for him to be taken into custody. And this is what I mean when I say, like, with that situation that I brought up earlier of me, having a couple drinks, being caught speeding. Just take whatever the punishment is and just get through it real quick, because the more you fight and resist certain things, the worse the situation gets. So maybe if Shakari would have just been like, you know what, took her L and went to the station, then her boyfriend too wouldn't have been caught up in this whole arrest situation. Right? And of course, we can get into, how, yes, it's bad for Shakari, but also it's also bad for her boyfriend now, because who's to say he's not going to be drug tested? He does track and field, and now they're alluding to the fact that he has marijuana, may have marijuana in his system. So it's just like all of this is just all the things that can go wrong that I'm just like, ugh, I don't like it. But nonetheless, Shacarri posted the next day that she is at her practice. Great day at practice. So of course she realizes that her arrest went viral, and she's like, great day at practice. Now, if you're wondering, if hold on, let me pull it back up. Sorry, guys. So if you're wondering if this Christian Coleman guy is the same guy that Shacarri was arrested for at the airport for getting all up in his face, he definitely was. So I just feel like whatever is going on over there, y'all need to like clean it up a little bit. Just a little bit. Nonetheless, let's jump into these Epstein files, the files that no one wants released, because it seems that everybody's name is on it. But according to TMZ, this is what is going on. Trump is being allegedly accused, according to TMZ, of being in the Epstein files for allegedly forcing an underage, allegedly girl, to allegedly perform allegedly oral, allegedly sex on him. So let's listen to what she had to say.
Latest Epstein Files document release, an underage girl claims she was forced to perform oral on Donald Trump 35 years ago in New Jersey. The allegation comes from a document that describes a tip that was sent to the feds, and the complaint summary says the feds were told the girl was 13 to 14 years old when the alleged incident occurred. She, quote, allegedly bit President Trump while performing oral and was allegedly hit in the face after she laughed about biting President Trump. The document says the feds forwarded the lead to the Washington office to conduct an interview. The documents also say feds got many calls from other females with allegations. All
right, so let's dissect the first part of this. So is she saying that, according to these reports, this young lady is saying that she, and I said allegedly a lot, hopefully I don't have to say it anymore, but this young lady is alluding to the fact that Trump ordered her to perform oral sex on him, this underage girl, but then she bit his male parts off. Like, she bit him, and she got hit in the face, and she started to laugh.
One who claimed to be a prisoner, another who claims in 1984 she was pregnant at 13 years old and forced to perform oral on high
pregnant at 13, forced to perform
profile individuals. Another caller who alleged her friend was raped by Donald Trump in 1987 at Trump Plaza, and another who claimed Trump had parties at Mar-a-Lago called Calendar Girls, where Epstein would allegedly bring children and Trump would auction them off. TMZ reached out to the White House, and we were referred to the DOJ's Friday press release on the Epstein Files dump, where the DOJ says, quote, "This production may include fake or falsely submitted images, documents, or videos, as everything that was sent to the FBI by the public was included in the production that is responsive to the act. Some of the documents contain untrue and sensationalized claims against President Trump that were submitted to the FBI right before the 2020 election. To be clear, the claims are unfounded and false, and if they have a shred of credibility, they certainly would have been weaponized against President Trump already. This story is still developing, and we will keep you updated as we learn more."
All right. So basically, this young lady is explaining that Trump is allegedly in these Epstein files for forcing an underage girl to perform oral sex on him. She states she bit him off, got knocked in the face, laughed about it, and the people in Trump's corner are saying, whoa, 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 whoa. These allegations are BS, because if they were ever anything of substance, they would have been brought up the first time I got elected as president. So the fact that these allegations are being brought up now, they're false, they're this and they're that. And I'm very much on the fence, and we're only speaking on this if these allegations are indeed true, right? If these allegations are indeed true, then to me, I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence because no one should be coercing or forcing an underage girl to do anything sexually. However, at some point, we must move on. And why I'm saying that is because she brought up some years in here, 1984, 1987. Why are we like, I wasn't even born. That was like 10 years before I was even born. Like, and if I'm gonna get like personal here, I was born after this. I've also faced certain, abuse, things of that nature growing up and things of that nature when I was a child. And that person is dead. I've moved on. So why is it that someone from 1984, 1987 can't, you know? And maybe it's a projection from me because I've moved on from whatever I've been through, but I just feel like statute of limitations is there for a reason. And if we don't speak up in the time that we should have spoken up, I don't think bringing it up now is beneficial to anyone. But I don't know. Maybe I just handle things differently. Tell me what you guys definitely think. And the thing too is I think that if these things were, and let me clear that up too. If these things were being brought up in the spirit of being honest, in the spirit of helping young ladies and helping with the redemption of these quote unquote alleged victims, then, if there was like a light at the end of the tunnel, I could definitely, understand it. But the only goal I see here is the salaciousness of it and the exposure of public figures. Now, am I saying that they shouldn't be exposed? No. But what I'm saying is, if we don't have concrete facts and evidence and they're calling you a liar and all these different things, we probably need to handle this a little bit different. Like if she was taking him to civil court, knowing he got money and all that stuff, and she had her proof and all of that, that would have perhaps been a little bit different for me. But in this situation, I don't know. Like, am I wrong for feeling like something that happened in 1984 we should have been able to move on from, instead of just trying to make this thing another salacious story? I don't know. if and that's the whole thing with the Epstein files. I
In
think
the
that
latest
everybody is invested in these Epstein files. Um, but my question is, what does it change? Because the same people who are interested and invested in these Epstein files are all buddy buddy with people who've who've been accused of doing the same thing. So you want the Epstein files out, but why do you want them out? Is it to expose someone that you're not, friends with? Because when you're friends with them and they do these things, it's okay. So I don't know. I just feel like it is done no good. And if good does come out of it, then of course, absolutely, I'm here for it. But as of right now, I just feel like anyway, here's another thing going on with Mr. Donnie Trump. Donald Trump calls for Barack Obama's arrest after accusing him of working with the CIA to manufacture false intelligence on Trump. So I'm going to read exactly what came from Trump's account because, Trump is always tweeting something out there and everything like that. So we're going to read it specifically what he had to say. But before I do get into it, it ain't funny when the rabbits got the gun, huh? Because wasn't this the same thing that Biden and Democrats was trying to do to Trump? Trying to get Trump to be like arrested and all these different things for tax evasion. I don't know. I just feel like when you go digging into people's lives trying to get them to be hemmed up in a certain way, they'll turn around and do the same thing back to you when you can't say nothing about it because it ain't funny when the rabbits got the gun. All right, so let's read what this whole Trump thing had to say. So, break-in, a director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, has just released hundreds of bombshell Russiagate documents, proving that Barack Obama personally ordered CIA agents to manufacture false intelligence on President Trump and was actively working with the enemy to undermine and erode Americans' confidence in our democracy and President Trump's landslide 2016 victory. This was a coup attempt by Barack Obama and his cronies. As Jesse said, whatever happens to these guys is not revenge, it's accountability, and it's time for people to pay the price. Arrest Obama now. All right, so Trump. He's the guy who the ladies are, or we just had that story about him allegedly forcing an underage girl to perform oral sex on him. So I don't know how this is going to play out. I just feel like in the general scheme of things, I remember in school they always taught us this: power corrupts, but absolute power corrupts absolutely. And I just feel like the more power that you have and the more power that we get, we want more, and we want to wield things the way that we want to wield them, and that's just not right. And I think that's the demonstration that's being shown to me here with this whole Obama versus Trump, when the Biden administration had went for Trump, and then now Trump coming back to go for Barack, saying that he worked with Russia, but Trump was also seen with Putin not too long. Like, it's just a lot. I just feel like, when can we get back to focusing on politics? That's the P word that I want us to focus on. Politics. Nothing else. And I do think that even though it's a slow crack in the iceberg, I do think that these political games that the Democrats and the Republicans play with trying to throw dirt on the name of the person, whether it's Senate, Congress, president, whatever the political title may be. I think that these tactics have gone old and the public is seeing through them. And I do think that excuse me, I don't know if I don't know how many people feel like me, but I think that there is so much more to focus on politically in America and its climate than to be focusing on what dirty laundry and who was talking to who and who was doing this and who was doing that. I just feel like at this point we need to focus. But that's just kind of how I feel about this whole Donald Trump thing. But let's jump it back into the celebrities for a little bit, right? So Brittany Renner makes it clear that she is not friends with Kevin Gates, despite him claiming they are selective memory with a wide mouth will not be tolerated. Let's take a look.
Situation. I learned everything that I needed to learn, and then that's still my friend. We're still cool.
Yeah, I think I had on the pod. I thought you.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna tell you something.
What?
I've been probably knowing that person since like 2014, and she always been a friend of me.
Yeah.
Like outside of this media shit, like I don't care what nobody say about how. Like the only person could make me not f with you is you. I don't care. You seen when they was trying to say that pussy shit about you?
Yeah.
What I got in your DM? What? Hey, on?
Yeah. You did.
Cause that shit'll make you, when everybody talking that pussy shit, that make you just. I say, "Oh, you ain't do nothing wrong." All that. I say, keep what I told. Hey, keep your head up. Hey, we on that. Hey, I'm on that black top. We love you on this black top. I told you that.
Yeah.
And keep your head up. So it's like people go through shit.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Then a lot of the shit people go through, it be lies and bullshit. Playing. So like that's the type of person I am. I go beautiful situation.
All right.
I learned everything that I needed to learn, and then that's still my friend. We're still cool.
Yeah, I think I had on the pod. I thought you.
So here he is saying that him and Brittany Renner are still friends. So let's talk about the backstory on Kevin Gates and Brittany Renner. We see them pop out on someone's live stream. I can't remember which person's Twitch live stream account they popped out on. She was wrapped up in her hijab, and Kevin Gates had his briefcase and he was walking around talking, and she was in the background trying not to be seen and things of that nature. That went viral. Suddenly they were married, and then all the noise died down and suddenly they were divorced. So I just hope a marriage like this does not find me. That's number one. Number two, I do think that Kevin Gates is just, trying to play the cool card. Like, yeah, we're friends, even though we're not friends. Like, like you break up with your ex, or your ex break up with you, and you try to publicly, like when you go around your friends and your family, be like, yeah, we're cool, but you hate that person with everything in you. I think that's kind of like what Kevin Gates was doing to kind of keep the cool publicly, even though all that heat may be going on in the background between him and Brittany Renner. However, Brittany Renner was not having it. She says, "We are not friends. And I did not know you in 2014. Selective memory paired with a wide mouth will not be tolerated. Since you're going to speak on me, understand that I now have a floor as well." Tune into her Patreon at whatever. Girl, we're not talking about that Patreon. We talking about Kevin and you and all that stuff. But if you do want to hear more from her, if you're on YouTube, that's her Patreon there. Nonetheless, I just feel like this is one of those moments where you try to be cool. Like I've had it where people be like, "Oh my God, how are you and so and so?" And I'm just like, yeah, we're good. We're good. We're still friends. We still say hi and bye. It's so good over here. Meanwhile, in the background, it's torches going on. All right. But Brittany Renner wanted to let us know that, hey, look, it's not all peaches and cream as he is talking about it. But nonetheless, it has been great chit chatting with you guys. Again, we discussed, Nicki Minaj and her gold card declining because the White House was like, what citizenship? What citizenship? What permanent residence? We know nothing about that. We had Summer Walker dressed in her plastic surgery gear for bed, and if that's what it means to look good, I don't want it. We have Devon Franklin, speaking on his divorce finally from Megan Good. A little too late, the way that I think, but for me, nonetheless, we also discussed Don Lemon and his arrest. And please, if you guys are protesting, just stay up out them people's churches. We talked about Shacarri and her arrest. And if you get in trouble, just do what they say so that you don't get in more trouble. Because had she done what she was supposed to do, her boyfriend wouldn't have been in the position that he is in, because you're gonna probably hear that he gonna be drug tested, and that's gonna lead to a lot of other stuff, right? We're talking about we talked about the Epstein files, and Obama and Trump calling for Obama's arrest and all of that stuff. And we talked about that, saying that at the end of the day, let's keep politics to politics, and we don't need to be doing all of that back and forth stuff. Nonetheless, it was nice chit chatting with you guys today. Hopefully we talk tomorrow. But anyway, laters, and on YouTube, guys, don't forget to drop your thoughts and your comments in the comment section down below. I look forward to reading them. I look forward to hearing from you guys. Laters, YouTube.